One thing we had gotten asked previously were tips on moving to the late forehand corner. For example, what to do when your opponent plays a very fast push toward your forehand corner. This is definitely a situation that many players, including ourselves, struggle with, so we definitely wanted to make a video on it. And after studying the pros for hours, here's what we found. Before you think about anything else, you need to make sure you play with your racket leading. What this means is that your first instinct when your opponent hits the shuttle is to bring your racket up. As much as you can, you should prevent your opponent from being able to play super flat pushes against you. It does not matter how fast your footwork is if you're letting these super fast kill-like pushes fly past you. The only way to get them is to have your racket ready and extend your arm right away to intercept the shot. You need to force your opponents to push higher than where you can reach. Once you can do that, then we can talk about footwork.
The tournament is
One of the problems we notice the most in many players with troubles moving to their late forehand corner is they don't push using both legs. They either only use their right leg or only use their left leg to push off. When you look at pros like Lee Chong-wei or Lin Dan, however, you'll see them pushing off with both legs.
third of all men's singles titles.
The late forehand movement that people have the most problem with is when their dominant leg is in front of their non-dominant leg. When moving to the late forehand from this position, you need to first push with your dominant leg to turn, and then push again with your non-dominant leg into a shuffle or crossover. Now, a key thing to realize is that this is not a basketball pivot movement, where one leg is anchored to one position. You need to push backward with your initial turn, and instantly push off your non-dominant leg. If it helps, you can try practicing with bigger, slower movements at the start. Start by doing a 180-degree jump backward, and when you land, instantly push off your left leg into a shuffle or crossover movement. When you master this initial push-off, everything else becomes so much easier.
Goodness! Unbelievable.
In addition to the push-off, we should also talk about when to shuffle and crossover, as well as provide some tips on recovery. The short answer is everything is situational. Shuffles are generally better suited for quick movements, while crossovers are better for moving further distances. For example, if the shuttle lands around the double service line or it's a flatter shot you can cut off, shuffles are generally better for that situation. On the other hand, if the shuttle flies higher and further back and you're moving a further distance, crossovers are an effective movement to move far and save energy. Additionally, many players will combine a crossover with a small shuffle to find the perfect timing for hitting the shuttle. Some players also use the Limao step, where they essentially do a small hop on their non-dominant leg before hitting. It all depends on the situation. As for recovery, the same can be said. It's all situational, depending on the shot you choose to play. Generally, you should always recover one step toward the middle right after you hit, but where you move next and how you do so depends on what you just did. If you opt for fast shots like drives, you should usually bring your dominant leg forward and follow up right away. Most returns are either blocks or drives that you have to prepare fast for, and if your opponent relifts, you should already be in position to jump and attack. The same concept goes for cross drops and slices. You'll generally want to bring your dominant leg forward and follow up right away due to the far distance you have to cover. On the other hand, if you choose to play a straight drop, you can keep your dominant leg back and glide if you want in anticipation of a lift. Clears are another scenario we can discuss. If you play a high clear, you can generally walk back to the middle and prepare for defense. For flatter punch clears, many players will opt to shuffle, though you could also use running steps. It really just depends on your preference and what allows you to move more smoothly and find your rhythm easier. Hopefully, these few tips were helpful and gave you ideas on how to improve your footwork to your late forehand. To summarize, make sure you start by preparing to hit right away, and in many cases, cutting off the shot whenever you can by simply extending your racket. Once you do that, practice your split step and make sure you use both legs to move to your late forehand. The initial push should be a small hop and turn that lets your left leg instantly push off. Then it becomes all situational. Your final movements toward the corner depend on how fast and far the bird travel, and your movements away from the corner depend on what shot you decide to play. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future content. Let us know what you would like to see next.